Now, it's not often I get angry, but when I see something that's wrong, I will get annoyed, frustrated, etc. But in this case, I'm just a little bit angry. And it's because I think that there's a certain group of teachers that are going to be seriously misled by the values that they're being sent in their remedial service statements. And it reminds me of that little bit of a comic sketch. And I'm going to apologise because my accents are terrible. But bear with me a second. Do you know, when I were a lad, you could get a tram down to town, buy 3 new suits, an overcoat, 4 pairs of good boots, go and see George Formby at Palace, get blind drunk, have some steak and chips, bunch of bananas and 3 stone of monkey nuts, and still have change out of a farthing. Why have I done that? Well, the issue here is to do with the timescales. It's to do with when is the money calculated to. Retired teachers are now being given their remedial service statements that lay out the values of 2 possible options. And in most cases, it's a fairly straightforward choice, although I think they could still improve the presentation. But I have seen a number of statements now that present these figures in such a ridiculous fashion that whoever has put them together is seriously misleading those who are affected. Now, of course, I am not a financial advisor, but I was a maths and IT teacher for 27 years, and I do know how to add up numbers. So let me explain. Now, to be fair, the circumstances of this are reasonably rare, but I've now seen 3 such examples, so not that unusual, I would suggest. And the problem here is I think it's a systemic problem. I think there's something wrong with the system, and it will carry on perpetuating these problems in these circumstances. Now, the teacher in this case reached 60 before 2022, but their pension was not created until March 2022 when they had a break from the scheme. The rules of the scheme mean that the pension is not created until you leave it after having reached 60. So they've now applied for their pension, and so this RSS has been sent out with the valuation of the 2 options. In option 1, there is only the final salary pension because they left teaching in before April 2022, so all of their service can be counted in the final salary. So option 1, all of the service in the final salary scheme to March 2022. In option 2, however, although they left in 2022, they now have an option 2 to put those 7 years into the career average scheme. So there is a mixture now of final salary and career average. And here's the point. The final salary pension is valued to March 2022, but that career average pension that they're taking now is valued to May 2025. Well, that's okay. I mean, I've got no problem with that. You know, they're telling you the dates, they're telling you the figures, but what comes next is completely bananas. They've added the 2 pensions together to give a total figure, a total annual pension. It's labelled total annual pension. You read that, you're going to think you're comparing one against the other. But they've got a pension valued at 2022 and they've added it to one valued in 2025. No. That final salary pension in 2022, now in 2025, is going to be a lot higher. It's a bit like going down the supermarket in 2022 and seeing that a tin of soup cost £1, putting it in your basket, wandering around the aisles for 3 years, getting to the checkout and saying, but it said it was £1. No, it's going to be £1.30. Prices have gone up. You can't add 2 pensions together without first making sure they're valued to the same point in time. It's complete and utter nonsense. Where on earth does this get? Why on earth do they put it together and come up with a total? And that is what I think is the systemic problem. This works if they add those two. This works if those 2 dates are to the same period of time. And that's the system. And it's not coping with this. It's not coping where there are different dates for those award payables. I'm sure you can tell I'm a little bit annoyed about it. I have had words with the TPS. I have suggested that they really should be looking to tell us what the pension values are today, not what they were years ago. Well, I'm annoyed because it's misleading. Someone's going to look at this, look at those totals and go, oh yeah, option 2 is nearly £2,000 a year better than option 1, isn't it? They are being told that the total pension for option 2 is £2,000. Well, 1833, more than option 1. And that is not the case. Someone could look at that and look at the differences in the lump sum differences here, £12,000, and think, hey, that extra 2,000 is going to make up for that difference in 6 or 7 years' time. So what difference am I talking about? What difference are those 3 years in the valuation going to be making? After all, this final salary in both, so you're going to make a difference to both of them. Well, the answer is we need to make a proper comparison. We need to look at what it means now to both pensions in both options from 2025. Pensions are increased each year by inflation. Figures are provided by the government. And so we can work out what those final salary pensions are going to be worth in 2025. In 2025, that option 1 pension has risen to £14,600 odd. In option 2, that £8,200 has risen to just under £10,000. So they're both going up. However, now when we add the totals together, we get 14,500 against 15,500. Look at that massive difference that has made to the gap. We had a gap of 1,800. The gap in 2025, which is important because it's what we're taking now, is £1,000, 1,050. The gap the statement is suggesting, their total, is 80% more than the reality. It's complete and utter bonkers. It's nonsense. My major concern here is that this is a systemic failure that is going to repeat it for everybody who is in this same situation. The same situation where they've got their pensions calculated to different start dates. If your statement has different payable dates, as this does for option 2, do not trust the total given. They've just added 2 numbers together and come up with a total, but no context about those numbers. They're from different time zones. In my opinion, giving somebody a total that at no time reflects what might actually be paid is shockingly bad. If you have one of these, please do complain to the TPS, as it needs to be put right, it needs to be improved. In the meantime, I have put together a spreadsheet that can help you get a more comparable set of figures. You've been waiting for these remedial service statements for a long time, and when you finally get this one, I'm telling you it's wrong. You're probably going to be very frustrated. So I put together a spreadsheet that will help you understand what the options are likely to be once you get a proper set of figures from the pension scheme. I'll put a link to this in the video's description, but just copy the dates and pensions from your RSS into those white cells, and the yellow total will be more useful than the nonsense you have been given. Please do complain to the TPS about the totally irrelevant and inaccurate totals you've been presented with. They do need to know about the scale of the problem and that something needs to be done about it. Hopefully before it gets to the point where somebody has made a decision based on these pieces of data and may have to end up taking this to the Ombudsman to get redress for somebody who has made that decision and realises far down the line that after 6 or 7 years they haven't made up for that lump sum. They have been diddled out of what they're entitled to. And finally, this only applies to those statements where the payable dates are different. If your dates are the same, then the total is to the same point in time. There's another issue about that. I think they need to be improving, still telling us what it is from now. But if both those dates are the same, then you're at least getting something you can compare one against the other. If the dates are different, you cannot trust it. The total's at the top, complete and utter rubbish. So good luck with working out what is best for you. And feel free to give me a shout if you need a hand with the maths. No advice, of course. I'm not a financial advisor. Good luck with your plans.